RFK Jr. says, I'm so grateful to you, Tim, for your confidence in me, but most of all, for your steadfast defense of the Constitution and relentless love for our country. Joe Rogan, on his latest episode or whatever, gave a endorsement to RFK Jr. Okay, let's watch.
That's just what they do. That's politics. They do it on the left. They do it on the right. They gaslight you. They manipulate you. They promote narratives. And the only one who's not doing that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You a fan?
Yeah, I am a fan. Yeah, he's the only one that makes sense to me. He's the only one that he doesn't attack people. He attacks actions and ideas, but he's much more reasonable and intelligent. I mean, the guy was an environmental attorney and cleaned up the East River. I mean, he's a legitimate guy. You know, before anybody started calling him an anti-vaxxer, which I thought he was too. I thought he was this nut, this like conspiracy theorist nut, until I read his book. I read The Real Anthony Fauci.
Bro, you're a conspiracy theorist nut. So, of course, you read his book and you were like, oh, I agree with this.
And I'm like, what?
I love when people go, oh, dude, I thought he was a conspiracy theorist. The guy is a conspiracy theorist. And then, and then I read his book about conspiracy theories and I agreed with them because I'm a conspiracy theorist. And I went, oh my God, everything clicked.
How much of this is real? Because if it's all real, this is fucking insane, and we live in a world where we're being manipulated by these health organizations that are being paid by the pharmaceutical drug interests. And these pharmaceutical drug...
So I talked about this extensively yesterday. It's so funny that these guys are basically describing capitalism, how it works, but then like still attributing it to like some random evil. This is like at the heart of liberalism. That's why liberalism, which is anti-materialist in terms of like analyzing the world, has a real hard time avoiding, Nazi sentiments and fascist sentiments, because like every single conspiracy theory ultimately leads to an outgroup, and that outgroup of like shadowy figures almost always is considered Jewish, right? That's how so many of these conspiracy theories, whether it's like flat earthers that think like NASA is owned by the Jews, or any number of different conspiracy theories that like probably start off as not very dangerous, almost always needs to find a scapegoat. Okay, the scapegoat can take different forms. You can call them globalists, the elite, shadowy cabal. You can call them Jews, but most of it is just terminology designed to talk about a group of shadowy figures in the outgroup that is like both weak and also simultaneously very powerful. And historically speaking, it's always Jewish people.
Companies are pumping these products out into the population and telling us that we need them, and then making insane amounts of money. And then also the government is in on it. And also they share a patent with Moderna, and also they share profits, and there's $700 million, however much money was made, whatever the number is that these guys made off of these products. Like, this is, all of it is fucking crazy. There's the revolving door between the CDC and the FDA and then these pharmaceutical drug companies. So the people that make the regulations then go on to have these cushy jobs with the pharmaceutical drug corporations. Like, oh, nothing to see here. It's like, it's open. It's right out in the open.
Right.
And when he talks about all that stuff in his book, you're just like, what the fuck, man? If this wasn't true, he would be sued.
No. American freedom of speech, unfortunately, in a circumstance like this, fortunately it exists, but unfortunately in circumstances like this one, make it virtually impossible to fucking genuinely be litigious against someone who writes unhinged shit in a book. Okay? That's it.
So it seems to be true.
Yeah.
And it's a scary thing because people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be attacked. They don't want to be called an anti-vaxxer. That's a big one.
Right.
So he endorsed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in this video. What I find very funny about this is that he had a bit of a Kyle Rittenhouse moment. He endorsed RFK Jr. and immediately the Republicans were like, oh, what the fuck? Fuck you. Cat turd. Cat turd, one of my favorite political commentators in the space. Probably the GOAT, the greatest of all time to do it. The greatest white boy to ever do it. Came out and was talking about how Joe Rogan is gay. Like literally, immediately. It's like that. They have one defense. Cat Third, the left crying about Joe Rogan 24/7 is making him 1,000 times more popular. Dear leftist, ... Joe Rogan can say anything he wants on his podcast, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it but cry. Joe Rogan endorses RFK Jr. So I've never been a Joe Rogan fan. Can't stand him. Yes, he has a popular podcast, but I've always thought he was absolutely politically dumb. He's great at figuring things out 2 years after we do. What a legend. So did it surprise me when he endorsed idiot RFK Jr. today? LOL. No. We are talking about the same fucking idiot who endorsed Bernie Sanders, right? He's the podcast equivalent of a dumb blonde joke. Who has the gayest low IQ dumb male blonde joke political infant podcast in the world? Joe Rogan. Answer A. Answer B. Also Joe Rogan. So that's the beauty of it all. These guys are a cult. They did this to Kyle Rittenhouse the other day as well. If you remember, Kyle Rittenhouse also came out, had a brief moment. It was a blip, basically. Kyle Rittenhouse himself came out and was like, hey, I don't think I'm going to support Donald Trump. Okay? Because Donald Trump is not good at gun laws. Kyle Rittenhouse, for those of you who don't know, is a person who very specifically went to kill people at a BLM protest as a counter protester, an agitator, got away with it as well. Legal to do that sort of thing. And was a beloved figure by the right for quite some time. But here's what happened to him the other week. Kyle Rittenhouse said he wasn't going to vote for Trump due to him being bad on the Second Amendment. The MAGA circus went immediately ballistic, called him a traitor, and created a conspiracy that he's actually a trans woman and a part of the globalist Illuminati. Here's the video.
Hi, I'm Kyle Rittenhouse, Outreach Director for Texas Gun Rights. A lot of people are upset that I said I'm going to be writing in Ron Paul for President of the United States. And that is true. I will be writing in Ron Paul. Unfortunately, Donald Trump had bad advisors making him bad on the Second Amendment, and that is my issue. If you cannot be completely uncompromisable on the Second Amendment, I will not vote for you, and I will write somebody else in. We need champions for the Second Amendment, or our rights will be eaten away and eroded each day. I support my decision, and I have no takebacks.
So that was wrong. He did have a take back. So after like 24 hours of every Republican immediately doing this to him, he did take it back. It's all a psyop, says Isaac's Army. He's a she. Q told us symbolism will be their downfall. Q told us infiltration instead of invasion. They literally started saying he was actually a woman and also gay and also a Freemason and also Illuminati and possibly Jewish. So then he turned around and said, over the past 12 hours, I've had a series of productive conversations with members of the Trump's team, and I'm confident he will be the strong ally gun owners need to defend our Second Amendment rights. My comments made last night were ill-informed and unproductive. I'm 100% behind Donald Trump and encourage every gun owner to join me in helping send him back to the White House. They are out of control. The Republicans are so insane at this point that they immediately go, oh, you don't want Trump? You must be a gay trans person, a gay trans woman who is actually secretly a woman. Here's another version of events as well. Biological female. This is a female. Female shoulder to hip ratio. Female Q angle. No space. Kyle Rittenhouse. Female skeletal markers. Oval female skull. Small ear. Slopping jaw. Like, I'm telling you right now, if the number of people who operate like this continues to grow, if the number of people who operate like this continue to grow, it's over. I mean, it's already over. The American project is done. Okay. It's done. We have been fucking running on fumes. Okay. This is not bait. I'm telling you, back in the day, there only used to be people like this who would be screaming at you on top of a fucking soapbox outside of a subway station. Now those guys are on Twitter, and others like them are also on Twitter going, wait a minute, this guy's right. Okay? We are slowly growing the number of people who are giving themselves schizophrenia. Okay? They did this to Andrew Tate as well. Beloved figures on the right, the moment that they sidestep from whatever like the prevailing right-wing narrative is, The moment that they sidestep, they're like, oh, you're a woman. You're actually a woman. You're a trans woman, and you are gay and also a woman. Yeah, they're now investigating Andrew Tate. I guess she forgot to wear her fake penis. I told everyone about this a while back. It's all of them. If they are on stage, they are part of the inverter show. He/she blocked me for calling him/her a transformer. Those sloping shoulders, and her sister is even worse with those huge hips. It's so obvious. And the Republicans lost their minds over Joe Rogan as well. So Trump, alongside the rest of the Republicans, the reason why I did the sidestep away from the Kyle Rittenhouse phenomena is because they got one speed. Immediately, they pounce, right? So Joe Rogan was forced to basically make a fucking statement, okay? Because they built this audience. It's filled to the brim with dumbass hogs, and they just kind of are audience captured in that regard, okay? They're just audience captured in that regard. They now are too invested in maintaining this grift, or rather, they believe some of the statements that they're making, but maybe not all of it. But because their audience is so massively right-wing, because they've pandered so much to the fucking hogs, that they can't even say, I kind of like RFK Jr. without everybody calling them gay and trans women, calling them trans men, and secretly biological women or whatever. You're right. So Joe Rogan, after Donald Trump pounced on him, Trump joins his supporters in attacking Joe Rogan for saying he's an RFK Jr. fan. It will be interesting to see how loudly Joe Rogan gets booed at the next time he enters the UFC ring, MAGA 2024. They're eating his ass. So he now turned around and posted a tweet. He said, for the record, this isn't an endorsement. This is me saying that I like RFK Jr. as a person, and I really appreciate the way he discusses things with civility and intelligence. I think we could use more of that in this world. I also think Trump raising his fist and saying fight after getting shot is one of the most American fucking things of all time. I'm not the guy to get political information from. If you want that from a comic, go to Comic Dave Smith. He actually knows what he's talking about. I like Omar Badar posting this like Joe Rogan's going to listen to John Oliver about the vaccine shit. Hogs were crying about the endorsement. Thanks for clearing this up because I was literally crying about it. You are not normal. You have lost your fucking mind if you're crying about Joe Rogan endorsing RFK Jr. over Donald Trump. But Joe Rogan wasn't the only person. Okay, so they did this with Joe because much like Democrats, they're now vote shaming, which I personally love. Keep up the good work. You only do this if you want to lose, okay? Apparently, the neo-Nazi Trump invited to dinner alongside Kanye West has revoked their support. White supremacist far-right political pundit Nick Fuentes shockingly revoked his support from Trump's campaign early Friday, announcing on social media that he and his allies believe that the presidential bid is headed for a catastrophic loss. Okay, young groypers are posting about how sad they are, but it doesn't end there. Setback for the RFK Jr. campaign. Right-wing YouTuber Tim Pool says he'll vote for him, and RFK thanks him. But now Pool, after facing criticism for cat dirt and other prominent MAGA figures for abandoning Trump, says he was just kidding and won't be voting for RFK after all. That was a short-lived, haha, I was just kidding moment from Tim Pool, who, you know, is famous for this kind of haha, just kidding moments. He's a kidder. He loves the jokes. He's a big jokester. RFK Jr. says, I'm so grateful to you, Tim, for your confidence in me, but most of all, for your steadfast defense of the Constitution and relentless love for our country. Oof, I really stepped in it this time. Ha ha ha, holy crap, I'm voting for Trump. What the fuck? Wait, I thought Tim was a centrist. I can't believe Hogs thought RFK was siphon votes from Biden. Yeah, that was awesome. Do the Trump cult get proud for bullying them into apologizing, or do they believe they magically had an epiphany? You do this when you are losing, okay? You play bully ball and you fucking bully voters and you vote shame when you're losing. Yes, I am trolling in response to people attacking Joe Rogan and Kyle Rittenhouse. There's no real argument against voting Trump, but fuck me. Some of these diehard MAGAs are destructive as the left is. I love this stuff. I hate it when the Democratic Party does this. Think about if you are a liberal if you are a liberal, okay, if you're in the chat, and there's a lot of liberals amongst us right now because there's a lot of people tuning back into the election, excited about Kamala Harris, reinvigorated. Remember how funny it is when Cat Turd starts yelling about Joe Rogan for his endorsement of not Trump, okay? Don't do that. Don't fucking do that, okay? Don't be like the fucking MAGA cultists. This is why we say you look like the MAGA cultists. You look like Blue Anon. You look like Blue MAGA. I want Trump to win. You will not turn things around by denying reality or insulting moderates. Drop your egos. It's so funny. Dude, no, they're like, are we trusting polls now? I love that. Yes. No, you're right. You shouldn't trust the polls. Trump is doing great. MAGA influencers need to chill out and stop acting like losers. You're not helping anything. In fact, you're actively hurting Trump. Joe Rogan is a celebrity. Suddenly, we're supposed to care about celebrity opinions. The internet is not real life. Sign off and harvest a ballot. I love that they are doing this. It's like, bro, you can't say MAGA influencers chill out and stop acting like losers when you look like this, okay? When you are the quarter pounder. But yeah, they're in a dire fucking situation and they recognize it. And why? Why are they in a dire situation? Because the Democratic Party, for the first time ever, in a sequence of W after W, has actually responded to the pressure because it happened to be a perfect planet-aligned moment where the donors, the voters, and Nancy Pelosi, most importantly, were all in agreement that Biden needs to get swapped out of the ticket. So they responded to that pressure and they did it. Then they followed along with that additional pressure and made another good move. They made Tim Walz the VP, basically locking them down on progressive policies, making bold, declarative, out and about progressive policies your mainstay, your actual platform. Okay? All the while, notice how Republicans have no response to that because they are not used to running against a good fucking strategy. Do you understand? Republicans are not used to running against actual good strategy. They don't know how to do it. They've never done it. They don't know what to do. They're flailing. These guys are not wrong. But what they fail to comprehend is they fed into the Republicans being psychotic losers and extra weird. Okay? They did that. It's you guys, dumbass. You can't just like swap it out in the last second. You can't just like do incredibly weird, hyper-focused on trans panic, hyper-focused on like the skull science narratives for years and years and years, and then in the last moment turn around and be like, oh, we were actually normal, like we were trying to just cut taxes. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, you can't do that. You already primed the schizos in your base.
Real quick on all this dumb infighting and melting down. First it was Kyle Rittenhouse, now it's Joe Rogan. Look, Joe Rogan endorsed Bernie Sanders in 2016 and Trump won easily. Has everybody who is one of these mega influencers completely forgot about 2016 and how every poll had Hillary ahead until the very end? Has everybody forgot how Cory Bush had a million Twitter followers and got beat by a relative nobody with 10,000 Twitter followers? Twitter is not real life. It's getting really cringe seeing so many of these quote-unquote mega influencers melt down and react emotionally to what is obviously a Kamala psyop. These images that get out that many people are saying are AI. The fact that she had a concert in a wildly popular band's hometown, and it was a free concert of Bon Iver in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, their home.
He's like, hey, man, don't be weird and like over the top right wing while simultaneously repeating talking points that he saw on Twitter that are weird and over the top right wing. that it's a psyop, that the only reason why there's a lot of momentum behind Kamala Harris is because of fucking Bonnie Iver? Like, are you insane? Or Bon Iver, however you fucking say it. Like, you are the problem, dumbass. Also, this is really funny. Apparently, again, abject denial of reality. He made a video on me. Someone just sent me the link. Leftoids meltdown over Trump. It's not working, man. Only 100,000 views. Big dog, what's happening?
It for a long time. The Nelk Bros gave him a big gift. Here's Hasanabi's.
It is quite literally an FEC campaign contribution violation. Okay? Just so you understand. I am right. He is wrong. Doesn't really matter because nothing really matters for these guys. The truth doesn't matter. The rules or anything like that doesn't matter. And you are the weirdo. Okay? You are the weirdo. You are the reason why so many in the base is so primed and ready to go with like with these unhinged conspiracies that make everybody look differently at the Republican Party.
Hometown. Everyone's like, oh my God, the Kamal phenomenon is real. Trump needs to fire his campaign manager. Oh my God. Holy crap. I'm getting
like, bro, you can't come back from being a basement pisser, right? You just can't. Like, you're already a weirdo in every sense of the word, right?
Real time.
But like beyond that, you're also pumping out videos daily about like trans-panic shit. Like those are the real reasons why the Republicans are seemingly very off-putting.
Hired a lot of these mega influencers that are suddenly now doom-pilling because the point of the Kamala psyop is exactly this, and you're falling for it, okay? I'm not going to call anyone out by name because, you know, it's not helpful. But the fact is, all these huge crowds and all these polls that are coming out.
Hold on. I got to quote retweet this. That's the whole point. What does numbers online doesn't translate to fucking votes because the motherfuckers that vote are your grandparents, okay? The motherfuckers that vote are your parents. They're business owners. They ain't online like you are. They go outside.